originally from Sfax, but I grew up in the UAE, and I was born in America. And I went to school in California, and my dad, Meher Behlul, is actually an English professor, which is probably why we kind of traveled a lot, and why I got interested in English teaching as well. And we would come back to Tunis every summer for family vacations, and that's kind of where my love and passion for this country comes from.
Blake.
My name is Blake Christopherson. I'm from the same school, graduated from the same university, and I am a volunteer and supporter of this program, and I graduated with creative writing.
Malibu, living in Malibu.
Living in Malibu, yes.
Mm-hmm. I thought that people who live in Malibu, they do not exist. Just find them, just put them on, on your students and stars, and then I realized when I saw you that they were real people. Tell us about the life in Malibu, where you grew up, where you were born, and maybe you spent some years before traveling to the UAE, which is also a very nice, very beautiful country.
Yeah, Malibu is kind of different. Blake probably knows a bit more about Malibu than me, but it's on the beach, so it's beautiful, and our school, Pepperdine University, is actually on top of a mountain, so we can walk to the beach. It's kind of, people say it's hard to focus on studying when like the beach is right there.
It's impossible to focus.
I don't know, yeah, how do you feel about Malibu?
Yeah, it's beautiful, it's remote, it's really quiet. It can be boring, of course.
Boring?
It can be boring, like at night.
Are you kidding?
In the daytime, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful place to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you graduated in creative learning?
Yes, creative writing.
Creative writing.
English, yeah.
What if you had to present creative writing?
Sorry?
What if you had to present or to explain? What is creative writing? I'm familiar. I studied lead, so
basically, it's
but tell listeners they're not
the art of writing in general. So it can be screenplay, it can be stories, novels, poems. It's just the art of expressing yourself during the English language. Yeah.
Habiba Meteo is writing. She said some words against the death of Khalifa Sultani. Our guests are not necessarily familiar with what happened, but what happened is the terror attack. Not in London. What happened yesterday in Tunis, and terrorists killed the brother of Sultani. So two guys from the same family died. One died last year, and one died this year. So two brave men who gave their lives for this land. So terrorism, when it hits people in London, in Tunis, in Europe, or in India, it's always sad. So it is the same mentality, the same spirit, the same goal, which is to terrify people. So we have not two victims, but two martyrs who gave their lives, and just any message, any call. Wow. But what happened yesterday in Tunis, what happened also in London, and what's happening in the whole world.
Yeah, I think when it comes specifically to terrorist attacks, sometimes they're portrayed differently, and they get different media coverage based on like where the attack is. But really, death is tragic no matter the location, and especially when it comes to Tunis. For me, it's very hard because my whole thing is I'm trying to bring Americans to Tunis, right? And it's a safe country, because on a regular it is pretty safe. It's a safe country,
and when we yesterday I was watching live on CNN, on the BBC, what happened in London. The whole world is safe, but at the same time the whole world is unsafe. So terrorism hits civilians, hits targets innocent people. So it's always the same. Come to Tunis. This is our message. Exactly. So my next question is about this project, this amazing project, traveling around the globe. Now you've been to 3 countries, and I hope that you'll have the opportunity to travel to many countries to teach English. But it's not an ordinary way. It's a very special way, a different way, an amazing way. How did the idea generate, the idea of teaching English to kids? And the idea of teaching English, but the project's name is Lights, Camera, Learn.
Lights, Camera, Learn, yeah. So the idea actually started with my father, who's an English professor, and he...
What's his name?
Meher Behlul.
Say hi to Mr. Meher Behlul.
Hey, Dad. And he actually did a lot of research on the most efficient way to teach kids languages. And he wrote a book called Lights, Camera, Action in the Brain. And he found that a lot of learning, especially language learning, can be very passive when you're in a classroom. You're just memorizing words and doing spelling tests and learning grammar, and that's not very active. You can sit down and kind of be passive, but when you're acting or you're involved in the arts, once the child or the kid or the learner is engaged in what they're learning and they're interested, the way they learn kind of increases exponentially. Mm-hmm. So 5 minutes of active learning can equate to 5 hours of passive learning. It's incredible.
5 minutes?
Yeah. Something like that.
Blake?
Yeah, I would agree. I think when you have a classroom and you're teaching at students, they can some of them will take over, they'll take the lead. You have the kids who are super into it and the ones who just don't really learn the same way. But when they're all working together, they're enjoying what they're doing, they're learning through passion, it kind of changes the game. It makes them much more involved, and then they grow much faster.
Mm-hmm. Blake, you were born and raised in the U.S. You're American, and
yes.
And our guest is from Tunisia. She was born in the U.S. and she has lived in the UAE. But you know that kids here, they are reading in English, listening to programs in English, watching movies and games in English. So they have this facility. They can learn. They can learn very easily the language. They can. When we started 20 years ago, when we learned the language, it was difficult because we don't have the resources and no internet. But now they have the internet. They have everything. I think this could be part of the this active learning process. You call it active learning? How do you call it?
Yeah, it's technically called learning languages through art.
Mm-hmm.
Filmmaking is an art, but for sure, because the kids we make movies with them. So through acting and script writing and all that, that's how they're learning English. So by the end of it, they have a YouTube video online where they can see themselves as stars and they can share it with their friends and they get really excited. So.
I want to ask you about the average age. So
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Is usually
My son is watching live. I hope he's listening. I hope he will enjoy it. And dozens of kids. So the idea started in the U.S. and then you traveled to Jordan, to Palestine, and to Tunisia. Tell us about the experience in Jordan.
Jordan was amazing. Jordan and Palestine, actually, we were very openly received. We had the support of the whole community. The Minister of Education came out to a red carpet event.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very fun, very exciting. The kids loved it, the parents loved it, and we want to go back next year. So.
Mm-hmm. Blake, tell us about the experience in Jordan.
Jordan in particular, the kids, their language level wasn't as advanced as in Palestine, but they were so warm and so open and so eager to learn from us and to meet Americans that it was almost instantaneous, just the relationships we built with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the end, I'm still talking to some of them on Facebook. They watch their videos over and over again. They had so much fun, and we did too, obviously.
Or about Palestine?
Palestine, it was much easier because they had some English training.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, we were working with a school versus a youth program, but their school had a language program, so they could learn their script. They could kind of write, and it was a lot easier, but it was more structured.
Mm-hmm.
But they were very different and both very amazing, life-changing experiences. Great kids.
No budget?
No budget.
You're doing this on your own?
As of now, yes.
No, it's amazing because at the beginning I thought maybe you had a budget in order to be able to travel and to produce. I know that productions cost money, and you need money to travel to finance this project. But you started from scratch, and you're still working on this project. You started in Palestine, Jordan, and now in Tunisia. This shows that the new generation can work very hard. And when you believe in what you are doing, you can just do it. And later you will have the budget to finance this project. So it's more than teaching language. It's also about culture. It's also about sharing what you like, what you love, and also about learning. You go to teach, but also to learn.
Yeah,
isn't
sure.
it?
For me, the reason why I bring people over to the Middle East is because in America there are a lot of misconceptions about the Middle East, and a lot of people, when they meet me, like in Malibu, I'm usually the first Muslim they've ever met. I'm usually the first Tunisian. They didn't even know Tunisia was a country. So when I want to bring my friends over and when I bring interns, I'm hoping that they get to actually meet people and not just come as a tourist. I want them to make friends with the locals. I want them to try our food, to see our sites, you know, and really like bring them in Ramadan. So like they kind of have to integrate some way. So that's my thing. I want them to get to know these kids and work with them on a personal level. And same for the kids. They have, I think, this misconception of what America looks like based off of movies, and they get to meet Americans. And I really love that. I think that a lot of learning comes from this cross-cultural exchange.
A few weeks ago, I was in Galway, in Ireland, and Tracy is writing now. She said, "Great to hear these stories." She's from Ireland. Say hi to Tracy from Tunis. You see that our friends are from the US. I'm from Tunis, and you are from Galway in Ireland. And this is the advantage that we have that our parents didn't have. The new technologies, we can share, we can learn, we can expect too much from other people, and technology helps. So, Blake, what have you learned from the experience in Palestine, in Jordan, and in Tunis? You come from different background. You come from different culture. From Malibu, the city of dreams, the city of
from Hawaii.
yeah, of Hawaii. Oh my God, yeah, he's from Hawaii.
No, absolutely. I think I both learned like exponentially more. I've had kind of this, not necessarily positive view of the Middle East, but I was open to learn more. And coming here, I realized, one, how little I knew, and two, how little I still know, and three, like, how wrong I was about what I did know, you know? So I think it's really great to come to a country and to meet the people and to experience the culture, because it's not what we hear, it's not what we learn, it's real people living real lives, you know?
Tell us about the challenges you faced as young people or young graduates trying to teach English to kids. Is it easy? Is it difficult? Tell us about the challenges.
Obviously, the language barrier is a huge challenge for me, not so much for Amel, because she speaks the language.
Is it an advantage when you speak Arabic?
Yeah, well, the whole point is we try to force the kids
to speak in English.
Because
yes.
they know English, they watch movies, they have the vocabulary.
Yeah.
They were just never forced to say it. So by putting them with someone like Blake, they have to get their message across. They don't have a choice. If they want to make a movie that they're passionate about, they have to get their message across. So that's, I think, where I've become a disadvantage. Is sometimes they'll come to me and they'll like, kind of like with their English teachers here, they'll turn to Arabic because they know I will understand. But I try to always respond in English because they understand me. You know, they just need a little push.
Have you had any help? Some help from your dad? He's an expert. He's a teacher. He's been teaching for decades.
He's given me tips, but what I learned is actually with younger people, it's easier to teach younger people because we have more energy to like play games and run around, but also the kids are more open to like talking to us about things, and we usually have like there's not that big of an age gap, so we can get along on different levels.
We have one more friend watching from Ireland, live from Dublin. Richard, say hi to Richard. Hello. So guys, light, camera, learn. I'm a kid, I'm 10, I'm not familiar with the concept. I don't know English. I'm from, let's say, from Syria, living here in Tunis or living in a refugee camp or even in Syria. How does it work?
Well, right now we're partnering up with schools, so we would go to schools, but we also have a page, we have a website, lightscameralearn.org, and you can apply there as a kid, and we'll get back to you and let you know where our nearest program is.
So tell us about the first session. This is the first session. Now it's 3:23, so we have a first session in 1 minute.
In 1 minute?
Yeah.
Well, the first session, the one that's happening, our first session starts on the 12th in Tunis. We're talking about the first session, like...
Yeah, how does it work?
How does it work? As a student. Well, you would come in and we get to know you first. We want to get to know the kids, we want to get to know what their ambitions are, what type of movies they like to watch, and then we play games. We have so much fun, we get them out of their shell, usually because they come and they're a little shy, you know?
Sure.
Once they're out of their shell, we get their creative juices flowing, we get brainstorming, story writing, and then we start writing our scripts and we start acting, and then we make a movie in a week.
Blake.
Yeah, we just start off getting to know them, basically warming up to them. They will come in knowing a little bit. They're kind of nervous at first, but like we play very simple games where it's like just zip, zap, boing, you know, pointing at them like it's like a racing game, whatever. And basically, it just gets them comfortable with us. So the first day is sort of just like acquainting ourselves to them and kind of warming up to the program, the idea of it, and then slowly pushing the idea of making a movie, what we'll do with it.
I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Any
having
call,
us.
any message?
Any message? Well, we hope to kind of expand in Tunis, and hopefully, you know, if anyone is in this area and wants to get to know us, we'd love to hang out with them.
If you can help with a budget, if you can help with facilities, if you can help with the equipment. No, you talk about culture, I talk about budgets. I know how it works. I know it's very difficult. I know it's very difficult. It's very difficult it was difficult for me to come today to today's edition, because following what happened yesterday in London, but also what happened in Tunis with the death of Sultani, the second brother. So two brave men died for this country, and also innocent people died in London. So we're also here to condemn terrorism and to say that we are still here and will stay in this country. I thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. You can find everything on the Facebook page.